You know, we found out a little while ago that Walking Dead and Invincible actor Steven Yeun was going to be appearing in the upcoming Marvel movie Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is a movie, as we've said before, that I really didn't care about until they showed us who the lineup of the Thunderbolts was going to be. And then I'm like, okay, this could be a lot of fun. Then we found out Harrison Ford is going to be taking over the role of Thunderbolt Ross. Now, apparently, I think it's going to be President Ross. He's going to be taking over that role. So that's interesting as well. But they never announced who Steven may or may not be playing and who he could or wouldn't be playing. Not a lot of stuff. But one rumor that's been going around and continues to persist and more people repeating, again, this has to be emphasized before I say it. This is not verified. This is not confirmed. No legitimate outlet has reported this, just to be very, very clear about this. But the whispers do continue, so it's worth at least talking about. They're talking about him playing Sentry. And this would be really interesting, yet very, very odd at the same time. Now, interesting because Sentry is just an incredibly powerful character. As a matter of fact, if you want to get a sense of how powerful this character is, in the incredible comic run of World War Hulk, where Hulk basically comes back to Earth after being marooned out in space by the Illuminati, Hulk comes back with a raging hate on and is determined to take out everybody who was responsible for sending him out there. And he takes out the X-Men, and he takes out the Avengers, and he takes out everybody. Everybody who tried to stand in his way, Hulk easily takes everybody out. And in the story of World War Hulk, there's only one last card humanity has to play. Get Sentry. That's the only hope. And World War Hulk, the story of World War Hulk, comes down to Sentry versus Hulk. And spoiler alert, it's basically a draw. It comes down to a draw. That's how powerful and big and important this character is. Actually, here's a little bit of a description. This comes to us from the folks over at CBR, and this is a description they the way they talk about him. Created by writer Paul Jenkins and artist Jay Lee, the superhero first appeared in the 2000s The Sentry #1. In the Marvel Comics universe, the Sentry was Robert Reynolds, a young man who gained the power of 1,000 exploding suns after ingesting an experimental serum, which happens a lot in the world of Marvel. Perhaps people should not be swallowing experimental serums in the world of Marvel. That gave him Superman-like powers. However, the serum also created the Void, an evil reflection of the Sentry that lurks inside Reynolds and manifests when Reynolds' mental illness goes unchecked. Although the Sentry has appeared in multiple video games, including the popular digital collectible card game Marvel Snap, he has never appeared adapted to film or television. Should Yeun's casting hold true, Thunderbolts will serve as the Sentry's first major appearance outside of the comics. Now, the thing about the Void is an incredibly important aspect of Sentry, which if they try to do him on screen and do not address the Void, I think they'd be doing a disservice. For those of you who don't know, basically, if he doesn't keep the Void in check, all reality ends. Everything is gone. The Void will just consume and destroy everything. So that's a really interesting part of his character as well. Ray, Ray, you've been excited about this. You've wanted Sentry to show up here, and you're kind of pumped about this. Do you think that could be who Steven's going to be playing in this thing?
Just don't do the Superman in what series was it where you called him a jobber?
Oh, Supergirl.
Just don't do that to him. I don't care who plays him. Just as long as they do him right. I want him to have his own film eventually, but I'm afraid it's sounding like he might die even in Thunderbolts, or he might not even have anything after this movie. That's what I'm worried about. I hope it expands to something bigger than just like a little cameo in a movie that involves bigger or is focusing on other heroes.
I mean, the jobbing aspect is thing that you can't have Sentry and then have Bucky punch him in the face and knock him out. I mean, you can't.
He's got a metal arm.
What's that?
He's got a metal arm.
I mean, of course, I keep forgetting that he has a metal arm. It could be pretty bad. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. If saving more and spending less is one of your top goals for 2023, why are you still paying insane amounts of money every month for your phone bill? Switching to Mint Mobile is the easiest way to save this year. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. You guys know I made the switch over to Mint Mobile a while ago. The process couldn't have been easier, and I can't believe that I am spending less than a third of what I was spending on one of the other major carriers before. By going online only and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes the significant savings on to you. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily in minutes with eSIM. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Anyway, Rob, you hear about this rumor. What do you take away from it?
Well, you know, again, Sentry, his ethnic background doesn't really apply to.
No,
he
it's
can be
irrelevant.
anybody.
Yeah.
I love Steven Yeun as an actor. He's really branched out. He's doing films both in Korea and here, and he's a terrific actor. So I have no problem him in that role. But I want to see the Sentry kick some major bootay. Mm-hmm. You know, not a jobber. I mean, but because he's also one of the most dangerous forces unchecked in the Marvel universe. I'm thinking he could be very formidable in Secret Wars.
Chris, you hear about the rumor? I mean, you were, like a lot of people, you were quite excited to hear Steven was going to be in Thunderbolts. The rumors going around is that it'd be Sentry. Could it? Does it work? What do you think about this?
It definitely could work. And Sentry has a very, very troubled past and really interesting origin story. And with Thunderbolts, too, you can tie this into the Weapon X program. We can explore how that's been working of people trying to, you know, recreate the Captain America Secret Soldiers, Super Soldier Serum. Tie in the X-Men a little bit with that as well. But also then Sentry, you can dive into why he even took the drug in the first place, because he stole it in his initial origin story. He was hoping it would be this great drug experience, and he was suffering from anxiety disorders and I believe schizophrenia as well. Yep. So there's a lot of stuff that you can unpack here that I think a actor of Steven Yeun's caliber could really handle deftly and with a lot of grace. So there's some really, really cool stuff there to work with as well. So it could be fun. I went for the obvious choice of Amadeus Cho, but I think this would be really, really rad. And hey, if he wants to play two invincible people right now, we've got Invincible in this. Good for you, Steven.
And I hope they go with the long hair. That's all.
Yeah.
Sentry's got to have long hair.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to go on record. I don't believe this. Now,
I don't believe it either,
let me be very, very clear. I am not saying it's not true. I have no information that says it isn't true. Just to be clear, this is just me from a fan's perspective speculating. Could be 100% wrong. That's fine. Just a fan theory. I don't believe it. And the reason I don't believe it is because when we were talking about the rumors going around that Abomination could have been the antagonist of Thunderbolts, one of the things I said at the time is, but how does that work? There's nobody on the Thunderbolts that has the remotest chance against fighting Abomination. You take that one step further and you talk about the Sentry? What is this? Now, I can't wait to see this movie. I can't wait to see this wonderful, weird collection of characters together. I can't wait. What are they going to do against the Sentry? What are they going to do? Nothing. What, you could clone every single one of them 50 times and they could all try to stop Sentry from taking their parking spot. There's nothing they can do. He is so overpowered for this. Now, you want to bring in that character versus Thor. You want to bring in that character versus Captain Marvel, or Thor and Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange. Okay, yeah, or Hulk. I mean, you stop messing around with Hulk and you stop neutering Hulk and have Sentry and Hulk. Okay, fine. I just don't see how a character as unspeakably powerful, arguably the most powerful in the Marvel spheres, what this group does against that. What do you do?
But that's with the assumption that he's the villain in this movie. What if he's the final card that they go and get? because in New Avengers he was in the raft, like he was a prisoner, and they busted him out because they needed help because the raft was everyone was escaping, or there was a big breakout that happened, and he helped the Avengers.
But I would ask the question then again: what villain could you have in this movie that the Thunderbolts can just not quite get over, that you need to go get Sentry for? Because then the Thunderbolts become pointless in their own movie. Like if the Thunderbolts can't deal with whatever the antagonist in the movie is, and it's kind of pointless for it to be their movie. So, I mean, maybe it's a small, tiny role just to set him up.
Yep.
Or maybe they mess. I mean, Marvel always messes with the comic story to adapt it to the screen. Maybe they find out that, kind of like Bucky, there's another being that's kind of been held in stasis or whatever for a while, and the U.S. government wants him. And maybe maybe instead of the antagonist or the protagonist, maybe Sentry is the MacGuffin. Maybe he's the MacGuffin. What's that spoiler? I don't know. I'm making this up.
Very convicted in your.
Totally making it up.
I mean, I think though that, Marvel has always sort of reinvented genres within the MCU. And I see this Thunderbolts team as men or people or metahumans on a mission movie. And I could imagine that they're kind of like the IMF, the Impossible Missions Force in Tom Cruise's or the TV series Mission Impossible, when they put this team together because the government needs complete plausible deniability. Like we're going to send you guys to do something that it's dirty work, it's wet work, whatever it is. No one can know it's coming from us. That's why this team has been hired. So I would imagine that's why I like this theory we were floating yesterday about the 10 rings. How can you go after an international criminal organization and have plausible deniability? So I think that's so. This to me, the Sentry seems not right for the Thunderbolts movie because he's too overpowered, too dangerous, and as a hero, what do you need the rest of the team for? And I really think that it's more than that. I think Steven Yeun's the villain. I think he's the bad guy.
Just not the Sentry.
Not the Sentry. Yeah. And maybe he's somebody new. Maybe he is the obvious answer. But I think he's the villain because that would be badass. I just love him as an actor. I don't know if he's going to be a flamboyant villain. I would just love to see him as a bad guy.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this rumor? Do you think, this fits totally? It would be so cool to see. Do you maybe think like me? It's like, how do you make it work? But hey, if anybody can make it work, it's probably Kevin Feige. I don't know. Whatever you guys think about this, you got your own theories? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.